guys, welcome to this week's tutorial for That's How Thursday on the Ippity blog. I wanted to show you how I made the accordion fold flower that I used on this week's card. It's super easy, and I'm going to be using the score tool by Martha Stewart, but you do not need a score tool. You can go ahead and use a ruler and make your marks using a pencil, and then you can just hand fold it without having to score it, even though the scoring does make it easier to fold. A couple things you're going to need is a really good strong liquid adhesive. You'll see I end up using 2 in this video. And you'll also need a punch that's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and then you'll need 2 strips of pattern paper that are 1.5 by 12 inches long. And I'm just laying this down on my score tool, and I'm going to run along and score at 1/2 inch all the way across. I've already done it pretty much on the most of this strip of paper, so I'm just finishing off the end here. So once you get your score lines done, you're just going to fold the paper back and forth all the way down, which is called an accordion fold, until you reach the end of the strip of paper. And like I said, you're going to do this for 2 strips. Now what we need to do is connect them end to end. And I decided to use a liquid adhesive at this point just so it holds it creates a strong bond. You could try tape adhesive, but I'm not so sure it'll hold it very well. So you do one end and then you go ahead and do another and line them up so you create a circle, and so the accordion folds will bend correctly. You can see how I'm checking that to make sure that it creates an even fold all the way around the circle. You want to make sure your peaks and valleys are even. I'm just fiddling with this. What you're going to need next are your 2 punched out circles. They need to be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, somewhere in there, depending on what you're going to stack on top of it. You want to make sure it's smaller than your element. I've started out with this liquid glue by Scotch, and I wasn't happy with it. It wasn't very strong, so I switched to a different one the next time around. To get this started, you're going to grab the tops and then force the tops towards the center. Takes a little bit of practice, but it folds over pretty easy. And then you just gotta figure out a way to pick it up and move it so you can set it on top of that punched out circle. You're gonna need a second circle in order to hold the top together as well. I'm just holding that for a few seconds to help it stick while I grab my other punch. And I use the scallop, it's not a big deal, whatever kind of scrap paper you have, or what. I just had a scallop punch close by. Like I said, I ended up changing my glue over to the fabric tack because it was much stronger and it didn't warp the paper and it held much better. So now I'm just going to put that to the side and put something heavy on it while it dries, that way it'll dry flat. And I just let mine dry while I made my card, and that was more than enough time. So that ends this part of the tutorial. If you'd like to see how I use the accordion folded flower on my card, just click on the other video, the Create a Card video for this. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in part 2. Bye!